The founders of a company determine its character, the principles it stands for, how it treats people, the way it does business. It helps if they're blessed with a heritage of hard work and strong family values, as Francis and Russell Ryan have been.
We shoveled coal from the time we were able to move a scoop and so forth. And so we kids were always brought up that same area of working hard, but we played hard too.
The values of the Ryan family that had been instilled in Francis and Russell from their earliest days were directly reflected in how they ran the business.
When the war broke out, when I went in the Navy, Russ carried on.
I think we were always very, very sincere and honest with people. We never took advantage and so forth. That has been a main factor, I think, of our company success. Well, I think we were brought up that way. That was ingrained in us as youngsters, that there's only one way to go, and that's the right way.
We were doing a job, and my dad happened to take a look at some steps that were going in, and he said, there's something wrong here. And I said, Dad, I think we can fix it. He said, we'll fix it, take it out, put a new one in. And I'll never forget that. Mediocrity is not acceptable.
I met Russ and Fran where I am a lawyer at the Dorsey office. The two brothers just worked in tandem and were so close to one another that it just seemed to me very unusual to see that much rapport.
Russell and Francis made doing the right thing the company's top priority. They always worked to build close and lasting relationships with customers and employees.
They were first-class people, really. You know you can trust them, and there's a lot of people in the real estate business you can't trust. I would say that Ryan probably grew from nothing faster than any of the rest of the builders.
Fran and Russ always had a great handshake and would always ask me how I was doing. Not necessarily how the job was going or anything like that, but how are you doing? And look you right in the eye, and it made you feel good.
When I first met Russ and Fran both, they could just make you feel like you'd been part of the family for a long, long time. It's a quality that I really admire. A lot of people can't do that, but they just did it so easily, so comfortably.
Founding brother Francis, still an active member of the board, says respect for the workers of the company is as important now as it was in the beginning.
Through the years, we've developed some great relationships, and it is these people that make the company.
Russell was the type of person that you could talk to about anything. He was always willing to share experiences, was always cool and collected, regardless how tough the decision was. To be able to model somebody after him would be, those would be tough shoes to fill.
I felt more like a brother than an employee. I honestly did. And I was fortunate to be hired by the company and to join that family. And I thank God for it. And count it amongst my blessings, the 23 years that I spent there.
But the family atmosphere at Ryan was simply an outgrowth of the importance Russ and Fran placed on their own families. They were always happy to guide and nurture the next generation.
They've built a great culture. And it works, and people inside and outside of the company see that. I hope I live up to be half what Russ and Fran are. To have that patience, the kindness, just the wherewithal and the understanding to look at a big picture and realize that people are the most important things.
The most, I think, telling experience I had, and I can remember it vividly. Russ and Fran at that time, I mean, picture it, they're in their mid-70s, 20 years ago. We're sitting in a meeting, board meeting, and I can't remember if it was Russ or Fran, but they said, you know, the two of us have been talking, and we are not contributing as much as we should be, or as we have in the past. And I think you should cut our salaries. Now, where do you hear that in this world today? And what they did is they instilled, at that moment, they instilled in me the value of your role relative to the bigger picture, the bigger purpose.
There's so many things, so many good memories. But I think the thing, especially with my dad, wasn't necessarily what he said. It was so much more how he conducted himself and what he did. I mean, he was always such a gentleman, and he always cared so much about people.
I just remember my whole life just having people come up to me, people I had no idea who they were. They knew my name, but I didn't know theirs, and they would just tell me, "You've got a fantastic grandfather. He's one of the best men I've ever met." I knew it the whole time, but I was just always so shocked at how many people he affected.
In a letter to the editor that ran shortly after Russell Ryan passed away, Henry Brusicorum wrote that those who did not know Russ missed an opportunity to know a very unique individual who embodied generosity, kindness, personality, and a lot of class. I would like to think that Russ said to God, "I'm tired, and I think I've done all I can do down here. May I join you and help prepare a place for my family and friends?" And God said in reply, "Sure, Russ, come up and help. But what is this project going to be called?" Today, remaining brother Francis continues to inspire his family and friends at Ryan Companies.
Fran, who still stays extremely active, and he's got a wonderful spirit, and he has such great wisdom to share, and he's so happy to do it. Most of all, you look at that twinkle in his eye and you see the fierce pride, the pride of the company and what's happened to it, and the expansion and the customers, the people.
They would come down for a board meeting, take Fran a half an hour to get back to my office because he's going around hugging everybody.
When I think of humor and I think of Grand Fran, I think of the way he tells a joke halfway through it. He's himself is doubled over in laughter. And that alone gets people to laugh so much. He's got just such a great smile and a great laugh, and the joke almost becomes secondary.
He's just so classy. I mean, who gets away with wearing a bow tie? He's just such a class act.
It was incredible, especially watching Fran and my dad as I grew up. I never saw them cross at one another. They always had the best interest of the other in mind more than themselves.
Although Russell has moved on, his words remain engraved in our memories.
I'm so happy to have my son Jim and my nephew Pat and so forth, and Tim Gray. It's a great threesome. I couldn't be more proud of him. Couldn't be more proud of him.
The legacy of integrity, hard work, sincere respect, and kindness that Francis and Russell established not only continues to guide Ryan Companies, it will live on for generations to come.